How's it going, everybody? This is Dominic Minchella. I am the Kansas City Chiefs co-beat writer for On SI and the host of the Kansas City Chiefs Insider Podcast. Thank you guys so much for stopping in today as we go into one of the biggest games the Kansas City Chiefs have on their schedule. Week 4 at Arrowhead, at home, still looking for their first victory within their own stadium for the 2025 campaign. The Baltimore Ravens will be joining the Kansas City Chiefs in a Week 4 clash, which means Patrick Mahomes will be going up against one of the best quarterbacks there is to offer in the National Football League, opposing him on the other side in Lamar Jackson. Both teams are also having a 1-2 record, but that's not the point of today's video. Today's podcast is all about the lucky break that the Kansas City Chiefs could be getting. And I put could with a little asterisk because it has yet to be confirmed since we are a few days out of surrounding rather of Xavier Worthy being able to play for the Chiefs in this monumental game. Now, it wouldn't necessarily be a monumental game should the Chiefs have a winning record. But since they are going up against a true contender for a Super Bowl championship in their own conference in the AFC against the Ravens, you have to have Xavier Worthy for this matchup. Last week, he was kind of being questionable. He was listed as that against the New York Giants, and then he ended up being ruled out, which didn't affect the Chiefs whatsoever, and that's beneficial that he gets the extra week of rest and recovery due to his suffered dislocated shoulder from week 1 in that friendly fire mishap with tight end Travis Kelce. But we've seen a lot of positive signs go the Chiefs' way now after the win. The first 2 weeks were not a lot of positives going their way. There's a lot of foul trouble. There was a lot of lack of explosiveness on the wide receiving side. The defense looked a little shaky. And hopefully that victory over the New York Giants was one where the Chiefs can build their momentum going into a really rough stretch of opponents down the line. You do get to stay home for the next 2 weeks as you then the next 2 or 3 weeks, 2 out of 3 weeks, because you will be facing against the Jacksonville Jags in week 5 and then the Detroit Lions in week 6 at home. It is very important that they get this win, and I think a huge factor of it will be because of Xavier Worthy. Now, Xavier Worthy, his absence was definitely felt in game 1 and game 2, but not so much in game 3 because of the people stepping up, whether that be Hollywood Brown, Tyquan Thornton, Travis Kelce. And I say Travis Kelce stepping up because we have seen such a lack of explosiveness in production from him as well to begin the season. But adding Xavier Worthy back into a wide receiving room with a succeeding Tyquan Thornton and Hollywood Brown, eventually you're going to get Rashee Rice down the line. The Chiefs are going to add players that continuously help them get better. Not to make any excuses for them for the first 2 losses. You still lost to teams that are likely to go back to the playoffs this season. You are losing in the AFC West to the Los Angeles Chargers, a team that looks really good out of the gates. They also remain quite healthy. The Chiefs will be getting more assets to their offense relatively soon. And Xavier Worthy, he's a player that can flip the momentum of the game on a dime for the Kansas City Chiefs. We've seen it before. Last year, he was one of the best players to help them out, whether that be rushing yards or receiving yards. Now, especially, there was also talks of this previous offseason saying that Xavier Worthy could be utilized in the punt/kick return, an area that they have been kind of lacking in But last season, as we know, he brought in 638 receiving yards. He had multiple explosive games, long catches, multiple over 30 yards. While he has faced off against the Baltimore Ravens before, he had 2 receptions and 3 targets, 47 receiving yards, averaged over 23 yards per catch. His longest was a 35. He even rushed for 21 yards, and he scored a touchdown, 2 touchdowns, both receiving and rushing. I think that bringing in Xavier Worthy back against the Baltimore Ravens, with that statistic in mind, keeping that he has a dominant presence in the wide receiving room, because without Rashee Rice, he's obviously their primary wide receiver, but also he's had previous success against the Baltimore Ravens. The question is, though, while he has been a full participant through the first 2 practices leading up to this game, how much is that shoulder being a discomfort to him? Anyone with a dislocation, it could either range between getting surgery or you rehab it on your own, whether it be an upper body injury or a lower body injury. I know that it takes some time. Xavier Worthy, he's been seen as a guy where he's just ready to go. Luckily for the Chiefs, he's still very young. He's got a young body that can hopefully, and looks like it is, recovering fairly quickly to help this Kansas City Chiefs team in a game where they need to have a really good contest against a reeling Baltimore Ravens team coming off of a loss to the Detroit Lions. There is a lot of areas for Xavier Worthy to shine in this game, depending on however they choose to use him, whether or not he's listed as questionable. I think that he's gearing up, and as we've seen, in 2 days of full participation, God forbid anything bad happen between now and the Sunday matchup. I think that Xavier Worthy will be a player to watch and a player to finally give the Chiefs some good juju on their side. That being said, be sure you follow me over on X at Dom Minchella. I post and repost every single day. You're not going to want to miss any coverage of the Kansas City Chiefs from now leading into week 4 and as the regular season prolongs. You should also follow us over at KC Chiefs on SI, exclusively posted every single day. Analysts, columns, podcasts, reactions. Kansas City Chiefs on SI is exclusively free and exclusively the best coverage of the Kansas City Chiefs. As always, Chiefs Kingdom, be kind to one another, and I'll see you tomorrow.